Okay, so when you start the code editor, you'll probably wind up with this blank page here in the text editor, and it'll just say new script here. And I'm just going to put the cursor there and hit the space bar. And as soon as we make a change to the text editor, as soon as we basically enter any character, we're going to get this little asterisk here that tells us that we've made changes to the script that we haven't saved. So this is going to be when you're working in the code editor, you're going to need to save kind of like you vote, kind of early and often. But before we can save, we need to basically define a place over here. Like I have 19 directories right now, or these things are called repositories, but you may not have any. So let's go ahead and create, you only need to do this probably once in this class, but you might as well do it now. We're going to create a new repository, which just means a new directory. It's almost like a drive to us to store things. And so I'm going to click that, and then it should kind of make it according to the user account that you have. And then I'm going to say that I'd like to do a GG 0251 underscore fall 23. And so the idea is that this is just the course name, and then there can't be spaces. So rather than using a space, I'm using the underscore, which is, I think it's to the left of the plus and the equal. And if you hit the shift down, it's that button. Um, and then fall 23, just to kind of keep track, because I teach this course kind of every year. So, and if I say create, it should work on it. And then you should see over here that we've got a repository. And then if you hover over it, you'll see there's a few things. It's Git enabled, so it's going to tell you it's revision history, but since we just made it, there's no revision history to it yet. Um, there's the next button is going to tell you some of the properties. So it tells you that I'm an owner, but I can add people if I want them to be reader. We don't have to really worry about this too much. Eventually we'll get here when there's going to be, you might as well say anyone can read right now. We're going to have to do that. I think eventually when we, it doesn't, maybe it doesn't matter, but you can keep it private for now if you want. We'll talk about this later, but this just allows other people to access your scripts, besides just the Google bots that I'm sure are crawling our scripts all the time. And then there's the delete button, which we don't really want to do because we made it for a purpose. Okay, so now that we have a repository, we can say, let's go ahead and save this. And to start with, I think you can say, if you click on the down caret there, you can say save as. And then you're going to want to, it should probably for you, since you only have one repository, it might go there automatically, but you first use the drop down to pick the repository if you're asked to. And then you can say, all right, this is JavaScript. Again, I'm going to use the underscore 101. So you can't use spaces in names for files either. You're going to find that that's a consistent theme. Like you really can't use spaces to name things here. So the underscore is kind of going to be your friend to add space to your names. And so again, this is Git enabled. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't really matter. You're doing a commit when you do a save. And I'm going to say OK. And so it's going to think about it, but then it's there. And you can see that if it's not there, you can go up and hit that recycle button and refresh it. So then for this, if you want to, you can do a couple of things. You can look at the revision history. So this is kind of tracking the commits or the saves that you've done and how you've kind of altered your script over time. So again, you're going to have to hit save to save your file. It doesn't do it automatically, but by hitting save, it's a kind of a commit, and you wind up being able to kind of go backwards in time if you would like. The rename is you can click that if you didn't nail the name to begin with. The .js just means it's a JavaScript file, and then the delete button would get rid of it, but we don't want to do that. Okay, so that's kind of creating a repository that you can access in your scripts. This is then becomes basically like your Finder or Windows Explorer, where it's going to list your directories and the scripts that you have saved in them. And and that's all I wanted to do here.